Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And the madness continues. Yes, brackets are busted all over the country, and I will tell you this, gold and silver are rallying once again. Crude oil, and just like we said, remember crude oil hit that intraday high of 130. Gold hit a new intraday all-time high, and then we had this sell-off. And I told you this was a fake paper sell-off. There was a bunch of different reasons for it, mostly the fact that a bunch of the places where people could go and hedge were broken, right? Kind of like the nickel market's broken, right? All these markets were broken, and get in. That's all I can tell you right now. Gold, $1,937 this morning. Silver, almost $25.50. Crude oil, back to $111. Unleaded gas futures, $3.40. So that at that level, that puts us at where we're right at today. That 460, 450, 460, 470, and of course a lot of places way more than that. A few places maybe a little less than that. But Jason, there is no let up here. Inflation it's already horribly bad, but it's going to get a lot worse.
Yeah, Joe, the more and more I look at this stuff and the more you see that the powers that be or what they're trying to do or what they want to do, the worse it looks like inflation is going to be. They want this inflation. They want it, and it's going to be here, I think, it could be multiple years, Joe, and that's very, very bad for the average American trying to make ends meet, Joe, pay the bills.
And when Jay says, hey, they want this, well, this is what the people calling the shots. Well, we could say it's the bankers, but we know that it's even above that. But here's the simplest answer. If they didn't want this, the Fed would be in emergency mode right now. We just had a Fed meeting last week. They already knew about the situation with Russia, Ukraine and Russia. They knew about gas prices. They know about food. By the way, horrible news for food today. Horrible news. And it's already bad. But they already knew about all of this stuff. And what did they? Oh, we're going to raise 1/4 of a point. And you know what? We're going to get real tough. Oh, we're going to get so tough. Yes, we're going to do it 6 times. That'd be 1.5%. Because, we were at 0. So let's do math. Inflation, I don't care how you count it, is double digits, and your big tough stance is 1.5%. Right? When are you going to wake up? Listen, you've got all the warning signs, and again, I told you how all of this ends. We are in this huge inflationary bubble that ends with demand destruction, and you should have seen how many people are out there now writing about, hey, guess what? This is the next Great Depression is going to be with us. And remember the last depression. That's when they took the gold. The next one, that's when they take the cash, Jason. That's when they take the Federal Reserve note.
Yeah, cash will go away, and the timetable is the only thing that's in question is when. When are they going to do it? And how much pain in the markets will we have before they do that, and how much pain will happen after they do it. Joe, it just doesn't look like there's a good situation for the average guy trying to pay his bills. It's just, I think wages will go up slower than the price of the price of living is going to go up. You're going to see gas go up. You're going to see food go up, and every time there's some sort of an emergency, every time your store doesn't have this or that, or there's shortages, or there's whatever stuff going on around you, you're going to have a big fat finger pointed at Ukraine or coronavirus or some other cooked up emergency, Joe, because they have to have a lot of emergencies, I think, in the next few years to bounce away the blame from the bankers.
Yeah, and that's what it's just gonna be, one emergency after another. Morgan Stanley now saying that the risk of a major downturn in the economy has sped up. They're now saying we're going to be in this downturn in the next 5 to 10 months. And that sounds about right. I think 5 months is a little optimistic. It's funny you're going to hear me say that. I think this huge inflationary cycle, it's not going to come to an end that quickly. I think it's probably closer towards the end of this year and into 2023, when demand destruction and this whole thing breaks down. And of course, the biggest thing is going to be, once again, we've already heard it. You started hearing it again. Right, the CDOs, these collateralized debt obligations, the house of cards that these mega banks have been built upon with all these hundreds of trillions of dollars of derivatives, all the money that the Federal Reserve's created in secret that they never told us about. Thank you for the Freedom of Information Act request. Oh, by the way, does anyone care Morgan Stanley's being brought up on more criminal charges? I mean, what is that, the sixth one in the last 6 years? I mean, they're just, it's all a fraud, Jason. It really is. It's been built on a bunch of lies, perpetuated. Let's face it, they own the mainstream media. Have you ever seen anything like it? I mean, how many channels are dedicated to stocks, right? To try to brainwash you into convincing you that this isn't going to happen when you know very well what really is coming. And the question is, are you going to prepare or are you not? Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. We're looking into silver right now. This may be, again, we've been waiting for this. Every time we think we're going to run out, something pops up. Friday, I told you about, we had that deal on Friday. That's long gone. We're paying all-time record high premiums when it comes to the silver market. But everything's just drying up. If you've ordered silver, be patient. On the gold side, the gold market is held up, but now we're starting to see shortages in the gold markets. The amount of product available in these, like the circulated 20s and 10s and 5s, it's gone. There is none. We're going to be dealing a lot with AUs and CUs and BUs and then graded 20s. As again, remember, they've created so much money. This is what happens, right? We're seeing all of these trading pits, if you will, break down, right? Because they get overwhelmed with all of the money that's been created and the liquidity problems. And now the junk bond market is starting to buckle. It's so bad. It's so bad that we had to allow for Russia to make a bond payment. Jason, it wasn't like they were like, oh, well, out of the kindness of our hearts. No, literally, J.P. Morgan, you know what happened, because it ended up being J.P. Morgan handled the transaction for Citi, because Citi was the one that was supposed to disperse the bond payments to the bondholders if Russia was allowed to pay. And J.P. Morgan simply called up and said, dude, you got to let him pay. Because if you don't pay, the whole junk bond market's going to come undone.
Yeah, which kind of shows you that Ukrainians or Russians, what's more important? Nope, it's the bank transactions. That's what's more important, Joe.
That's exactly what it is that we're talking about. And we're seeing all of these different commodity markets just continue to break down. We know that gold and silver, let's face it, gold should have done this last year. But no, they wanted to live in fantasy land, right? I mean, the only difference is Ben Bernanke's not Mr. Rourke and Janet Yellen's not Tattoo. You know what I'm saying? This is just pure fantasy. They told us a bunch of lies about inflation. They lied to us about the digital currency, didn't they? Janet, oh no, we're not doing that. Oh no, what? No, we're just looking, at it. Oh, really? Really? So MIT just worked it all out for you because you were just looking? Joe Biden signs an executive order telling the Treasury Department, hey, get this ready to go. Get this ready to go. And it's very, very simple. We're seeing it. You know what? We didn't know what it meant. At least I didn't know what it meant. When all of a sudden, you're getting, first they started like Alex Jones and any of these other quote unquote conspiracy people who, if you actually look at it, hey, they're right a lot more than they're wrong. Right? They get blackballed. You're like, okay, You missed this one or you missed that one, and you see it, but you don't quite understand it. Then people start getting banned on Twitter, start getting banned on Facebook, right? And start getting banned on all of these social media platforms, and all of the attacking of these. Right wing, because that's really where the banning had been happening. Are some people? Joe Biden, the head dog of it all. But really, Jason, what it really was all about, it wasn't even about any of that stuff. I'm convinced of it now. It all has to do with the digital money that's coming. Because now they're going to tell you what you can buy and what you can't buy. Right? And think about this. When did we start hearing about the social credit score in China? How long ago was that?
Man,
2-3 years ago?
I would say over 5 years ago, really. Over
5 years, right? It's been a while. Right? Oh, how bad it is. Fast forward today, aren't we at the same place? Right now you've got Wall Street banks and Wall Street say, hey, we won't invest in companies if they don't have a high enough an ESG score.
Yeah, they canceled my card, Joe, when I tried to order something from a company that had a low vendor score, right?
So get this. So Jason had to get a new card. You get a new card. Okay, activate your card, and so and he goes to order. He was ordering some supplements, just so you know. And the credit card company denies the charge. So Jason calls them up. Says, hey, what's going on? I've ordered from this site, I order every month.
Well, Joe is actually
from this site.
One thing, we didn't know why the charge didn't go through. And then I went to get gas a few days later because I didn't use the card very much, and my card was shut off. That's when I called, because the card was shut off. I didn't know why I couldn't order InfoWars D3 supplements, but my card was shut off. I couldn't get gas at the gas pump. Then I called him, Joe. Go ahead, continue. I called. All
right, so yeah, not only it was more than a denied charge, right? It was we're shutting your card off. And he called and just tell them what they told you over the phone.
Yeah, they said that you had a suspicious transaction with a company with a low vendor score. Because of that risk, we protected you and shut your card off and canceled the transaction. And then, of course, I didn't use my card very much. A week later, I'm trying to get gas, and I thought it was the person that was handling the credit card machine couldn't handle it, so I went and tried to get gas about a week later with one of my other cars. And it's okay, this thing's shut off. So we were so busy in the previous week, it took me 2 or 3 days to actually get the call in. But once I got the call in, they said, yeah, we shut you off. This company has a low vendor score, and we're protecting you, and we protected you by shutting your card off.
Yes, doesn't that sound like that great protection? But listen, this is coming. This is exactly what's going to happen. You're going, all of us are going to be under this new umbrella of, and think about it, and it's not just about who and what we can purchase. right? And everything you do now is going to be tracked and then, of course, ultimately judged, right? Tracked and judged. And judged by, and this is the funny part, by who? Right? We have no idea, who has the right to determine who has a low or high vendor score or whatever else it may be. And this is really, when you think about it, it's just the evolution of it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, because it's scary,
they've been doing this for a decade plus.
And it's scary because this ESG score, you go to call InfoWars to get your D3 supplements, which is really good. They're D3 and their iodine, really top notch. And hey, your ESG score is lowered because you're doing business with a company we don't like. And so pretty soon, I just don't, you know how people are, Joe. They obsess about their scores. Hey, I got to get a high score getting out of high school so I can get to a better college. I need to get I got to get straight A's on this, and it's all about test scores and this score and your credit score. And hey, if you're telling me if I order some supplement from InfoWars, I'm going to get a lower score, but I can just call Target online or Walmart or Amazon and get a supplement for about the same price, and it'll up my credit score. Well, sorry, InfoWars, I got to take care of numero uno, me, right? And I get to crush smaller companies, Joe.
Yeah, and it's not just that's on just purchasing of things, right? Think about the small business side of things and all the things that they're going to say. Well, you know what? That's just bad for whatever. It's bad for the environment. Oh, and people just simply think, oh, crude oil. It's so much more than that. Oh, wait, you're a dry cleaner. Oh, those chemicals are bad. Yeah. We're not going to give you a loan for that. Yeah, no thanks. Or, you know what? Hey, our bank has decided that your business isn't something we want to be associated with. So we've decided to help you by closing your account. And we've already seen that, right? We've seen that when J.P. Morgan kicked out all the pawn shops and the payday lenders out of their bank. I mean, all of these things are coming, and with the digital currency, it's so easy to do now, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, look what the Paris Accords, which Joe Biden put us back in after Trump actually pulled us out. They unilaterally, the banks at the Paris Accords said, well, we'll start not doing business with anybody that has business dealings with oil at some date in the future. Right? That's part of the same thing, Joe, right? That's where the scores are coming from. It's a banker score, and what they want the world to turn into, Joe, that's how your score gets developed.
And that's exactly what's going to be happening, and especially, let's face it, a lot of people out there, that's not going to be me, and they're not going to get away with it, or they won't be able to do it.
Without cash, they will. Without cash, they absolutely will.
Here's the thing. You got to remember, you're missing a key ingredient here. Crisis. How many people would have done just about anything to have the financial crisis that hit in 2008 come to an end? Right? How many people have been like, yep, whatever you say, right, I'm in, right? Think about what they did. Think about they've added $8 trillion to their balance sheet, right, and somehow called it a new tool to their toolkit, and they did all of these economic programs that they knew sooner or later, hey, that's going to be a big problem. But it's late. But it'll be later. Let's go ahead and do it. And everybody said, okay. And you turned on the idiot box on the TV, and they were cheerleading and clapping and saying, "This is so great." It's not going to be great. I'm convinced more than ever. The second version of the Great Depression is coming, and in this version, instead of taking the gold away, we're going to a digital currency. They're going to tell us where to shop, how to shop, what we can buy, what we can't buy. There's no doubt in my mind, and again, you're going to see your wealth get destroyed. We're going to see the biggest wave of people falling out of the middle class, and we're going to be run by, let's face it, we already practically are. There's so few companies really left in America. It's going to just be a handful of companies, Jason, and that's about it.
This Great Depression could be much more severe because you have runaway inflation possibly in front of it. So you didn't have runaway inflation on the first Great Depression. You had a central bank that was trying to gain control of the entire world finance, Joe, and they didn't have the inflation. Now we have the inflation plus the control of the digital currency. How bad could it get, Joe? It might be unimaginable.
Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. I've got a special on $20 gold pieces today. These are going to be AU, what we call almost uncirculated. So these things are going to be really nice. They didn't get put into a lot of circulation. Chances are these were coins that people bought and put them in a sock drawer or under the mattress. Maybe they had a short trip from the Philadelphia Mint or the San Francisco Mint back when, because, there was no automobiles. They were going via stagecoach, and maybe that bag didn't bounce around as much as some of the other ones. So these are really high-quality $20 gold pieces. Right now are circulated ones, the ones that we normally sell, which are fantastic. They're $2,265. We've got 100 AUs. $22.50. So you're going to save $15 and get a coin that, it looks prettier. Same amount of gold, but hey, everyone likes pretty. 100 AU 20s, $2,225. And of course, as you guys know, old gold is where you want to be because it's the most private way to own gold here in the United States. You can buy it, you can sell it, you can trade it. And the best part is you don't have to give out your Social Security number, and you don't have to worry about 1099s, Jason.
That's correct. It's why Patriot Trading Group has been very popular over the years with people who want to handle it privately, and so we handle that. And Joe, it's great. Since I've been here 4 years, you meet the customers of Patriot Trading Group. They're the most relaxed and confident individuals you'll meet. They understand how it works. When you buy gold and you start to save more and more of it, you start to understand it more when you learn more about it. And life becomes, when the emergencies are flying around left and right, a lot of gold owners, Joe, they're a lot, at least less worried or less fearful of what's going on because they've at least got one area of their life more secure than others, which is financially with their savings in gold and silver.
Yeah, and you think about this right now. They're destroying your wealth, and 10% is an understatement. Think about that. Hey, we're taking that $100,000. We turned it into 90, and really, it's probably getting close to 80. If you've never bought gold before, you've been listening for a long time, or maybe you're new to listening. Right, we're not like other dealers out there. There's no bait and switch. You're going to get exactly what you ordered at exactly the price we've ordered it. These online companies, it's a scam a minute with these guys. You place your order because you think you're getting this great deal. Then next thing you know, they're calling you every single day, telling you about how, it's out of stock and we don't have it, but we've got this other item. And finally, when it's all said and done, you're ending up buying things you didn't want at a price you didn't want to pay because you just wanted something. We've been doing this. This is our 26th year. You know how many people complain to the Better Business Bureau about Patriot Trading Group? None. Zero. Ever. And that's hard to do. But you know what? We do what we say we're going to do. And it doesn't mean we're perfect. We make mistakes. The difference is when we make a mistake, we fix it immediately. And of course, usually, the mistakes we're making are just, some human error where, hey, you know what? I ordered 10, you shipped me 11. We tend to, if we do, that's kind of the stuff we do, but we fix it ASAP. We don't take, we don't call our clients. Right? The only time we even call our clients is if that's what you told us you wanted us to do. Hey, will you call me when my check gets in? Will you call me when you ship? Otherwise, you won't hear from us ever. Privacy of our clients is something we take very, very, very seriously. You're not on a list. We never sell your information to anybody. We don't share your information with anybody ever. Those things are important. Really important when you think about it. And like I said, when we come out every single day, not every day, because there's some days there's just nothing out there. But when we put a special on, that's the best deal we have today. And you just simply call up and tell us, hey, you want the special. If you're in Arizona or Colorado and you want to pick up your order at the offices, great. You save $35. That's what we charge to ship. I don't care what you order. It's a $35 shipping charge. And the best part is when you order, you get a trade number. Once you have that trade number, it doesn't matter what gold or silver does after you've placed the order. In other words, if you called up right now and said, hey, give me 10 of those AU-20s. And you say, you know what, I'm going to mail you a check. Great. Right? Well, you write out the check today, you put it in the mailbox, and next thing you know, you wake up the next day and gold just went up $50. Doesn't matter. You're locked in. You're covered. And it goes the same way the other way. It goes down $50. Doesn't matter. You're locked in. Like I said, you can pay for it any way you want. Check, bank wire, credit card, right? We take all 4 major credit cards. We do charge a 2% fee, which, by the way, credit card fees, I just got notification. Visa, MasterCard, all of them are raising their fees to merchants, because it's quote-unquote inflation.
Yep.
But, Jason, am I missing anything? Best way to do it is call up. I want the special. That's all you got to say. Go ahead, Jason.
Let me say one thing, because people look at gold like the stock market sometimes, which I think is wrong. Gold's a commodity. And we're in an inflation-driven economy. The economic system is actually built on inflation. Since the Federal Reserve got its bank in 1913, they've wanted inflation so they can steal from us. So if you're like, well, I might buy a gold coin from you today for $22.25, and then what if it just goes down to $1,000 next year? Oh, that's not going to happen. So as a historical chart, gold has started the year at $1,500 or above 5 times. That means every other year, gold started the year less than $1,500. 3 of those 5 years are the last 3 years. 2020, 2021, 2022, gold is, all 3 years, started the year above $1,500. It's not going back below that, as long as we have the Federal Reserve in an inflation-driven market. There was 2 other years it was above $1,500. Well, there was some monkeying they did when the housing market crashed, and there was a lot of extra buying going on, Joe. But they don't have that ability anymore. They can't flush gold's price down anymore. So you're going to get a piece of gold that's going to hold its value and go up with inflation, Joe.
800-951-0592. AU $20 gold pieces at $22.50. Gold's up again today here, 1935 right now on gold. As again, everybody, the biggest thing was the Atomic Energy Agency of the world has come out with an alert again today about crude oil, saying, asking, demanding, begging countries to somehow lower their energy needs. There's not going to be, and this is not me saying it, there is not going to be enough crude oil after the Russian sanctions to meet global needs, Jason. And why do I have a feeling that that $130 high that we had that one day isn't even going to be close to where crude oil ends up before, listen, and then afterwards, listen, crude could go 200 pretty easy. And then the next Great Depression comes, and I think crude oil, I wouldn't be shocked a year from now if crude oil was $50.
Yeah, Joe. It's if nobody can afford to buy the item, then the price has to come down because whatever is available won't be able to be purchased. So yeah, we're going to see some crazy stuff here in the next months and years.
Yeah, and let's face it, we've already seen so much craziness. I mean, just look at what the Fed's balance sheet is. It's absolutely insane. And then you think about what they did with all this inflation data. Look at what they've done. Nothing. Well, I guess nothing. Well, they raised rates by a whole quarter of a point. I mean, last week they finally stopped. Allegedly, we don't even know, really. I mean, right? Because they've got so many of these other programs that they don't disclose. But at least for the first time since the inflation has started coming, they've stopped adding stimulus in the form of bond buying just last week.
Finally.
I mean, come on, right? Yeah, and again, why? Why? Because they want to destroy wealth. Because they know destroying wealth gets them power. And now, because of technology, the ultimate power is within their grasp. And listen, these guys they thrive on power. And they just can't resist. I mean, the digital currency, it's the ultimate power when it comes to money. Because you can control the citizenry, you can control everything that they do. And as we learned already, listen, they're so excited. They're so excited that they can't help but already they've started using the power. Look at the Canadian truckers. They just couldn't wait. Let's unleash this now. And you can witness the power that is now going to be in their hands when they just simply say, we don't like you. We don't like this company. We don't like that you donated to this. We don't like that you bought something from this company because they're on the naughty list, in our opinion. We're just going to go ahead and shut off your account.
Yeah. Well, it happened to me already, and I'm sure it's an early tester, Joe. But I mean, they war gamed in December the cyber attacks. Hey, the biggest threat to the economy is cyber attacks, and they war gamed it. And then of course Ukraine started, right, Joe? And so why do I get the feeling that once we get to a digital currency, a lot of these external emergencies might start to go away, and then you can just always call it a cyber attack. That's the emergency, because you can actually feel that one. You can actually shut someone off. It's like, well, we didn't mean to shut you off, but we were protecting you, so we had to have you shut off for 5 days, Joe. I mean, all the craziness when it comes to cyber attacks. And I find it interesting, Joe, that most people have credit cards that don't have as much, let's just say, cyber activity attacks, but I have a debit card attached to a credit card. It seems like, man, do they go after that? Because why? Because I don't think they want you attached. They don't want your credit card, your major credit card, attached to your debit, your checking account. They want you to use credit. They want you with that interest rate, right, Joe? They really want you to. They want you in the digital money system.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, credit card rewards, right? Well, what's that meant to do? Hey, don't use your debit card. Use a credit card, right? Because then we'll give you points and miles and all this stuff. It's all again just a motivation to push out. And let's face it, by and large, we're pretty digitalized already, but this is digitalization on a scale that we've never seen before. Remember we played that clip from Glenn Beck. Listen, they've already done it. They've already been running tests on it. It's already it's done. It's just they're just now waiting for the right time to unleash it. And the next Great Depression, that's going to be the time, Jason.
I think you're right. And that's, and you, the individual, have to decide what you want to do to prepare for things that are getting ready to happen. And Joe and I have seen an extremely high amount of people preparing financially with gold and silver. Our sales have gone up extremely in the last bunch of weeks and this year. And it's because people know that their cash in the bank as digits or their cash hiding under the mattress, they're going to steal that from you too. And they're going to steal it in a way they haven't done in the last 50 years. The inflation's going to steal it from them, Joe, and people are wising up to it.
800-951-0592. The special of the day, AU $20 gold pieces, $22.50. Again, 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Again, the special today, AU $20 gold pieces. And again, the supply situation is what it is. I'll have an answer on silver tomorrow, but don't be surprised if the answer is there is none. The gold markets are gotten very, very tight here in the last 10 days. So this is a good opportunity. And plus you're getting a really nice coin, and you're saving yourself some money. 800-951-0592. Get it protected. So we're going to see gold prices that, again, we're record high prices. We've already hit one this year. We're going to hit a lot more of them over the next several years. The biggest thing is gold knows inflation is here now, so it's rallying. But the bigger rally, the biggest of the rallies, is actually going to come when the central bank finally admits, because, it's kind of like they finally admitted there's inflation. When they finally admit, hey, we had no answer, and the economy's gone into a major recession, and we've got to bring interest rates back down to zero. We've got to start quantitative easing again, and we need a global reset. We need a reset, and we need to get to the digital dollar to save us all. That's when you're going to see, there's going to be days, believe me, there are going to be days where gold's up $200, $300, $400, $500 in a day, and I don't think that's a maybe. That's almost a certainty, Jason.
That's the future. That's absolutely the future. I mean, Joe, how many times were we going to say stuff that we didn't think we would ever say? Like in 2021, the number one performing asset class was used cars. Who would even thought that used cars would go up in value, let alone be the number one? If you wanted to invest in something at the beginning of that year, used cars outperformed everything. Joe, these are very strange times, and you got to watch what's going on. That's why you got to listen to this show.
And you bring up such a great point. This just, again, these are examples. These are warnings that the system is broken, right? Everybody knows that, hey, no, a used car, the second you drive any car off the car lot, it devalues. Unless you're in this horribly inflated world. Think about it. The used cars went up like 50% in a year. Wait till you see what happens to food prices. I didn't even get to today. News out of the Agriculture Department. The drought in the West has gotten so severe, they're now saying that the U.S. wheat crop is way overestimated, bringing all of their estimates down even further now. Jason, food prices are going to do something the world has never seen. When you're talking about grain prices doubling, tripling, quadrupling, on top of $4, $5, $6, $7 gasoline, the fertilizer's almost unobtainable right now. This is going to be a huge problem.
Yeah, we have food inflation in this country. We're not going to have starvation in America, but food inflation in America means smaller countries, third world countries, there'll be starvation there, Joe, because everybody that's higher up in the monetary system, they're going to get their food first, right?
That's how it works.